Every other video on this channel tells you the same hard truth. Florida is too expensive, too crowded, and you are too late. And most of the time, that is honest, but not everywhere. Because tucked into the middle of this state, away from the coast and away from the crowds, there are towns quietly doing the opposite. Towns losing residents. Towns with prices sliding and inventory they cannot clear. Towns whose county commissions would very much like you to show up with a paid-off house and a social security check and become their new best friend. These are the places where, for once, the retiree holds the leverage. And today, I am counting down 10 of them. But first, a promise. Because it is the whole reason this video is different. Most retirement lists tell you the price and stop there, and that drives me crazy because at our age, two things decide everything, and the brochures skip both. So for every single town on this list, I am going to tell you the nearest full-service hospital and how far you have to drive to reach it, because when you are 65 or older, that drive time is not a detail, it is the deciding factor. And I am going to give you a real monthly rent figure for every town, not just a purchase price, because plenty of you are past the point of buying again, and nobody making these videos ever seems to remember that you exist. Hospital and rent, every town, every time, the two numbers the brochures always hide. That is the deal, and no other channel in this niche keeps it. Let us begin. Number 10 is Palatka, up on the St. Johns River in Putnam County. Here is why they want you. Palatka has spent a century slowly shrinking ever since the railroad boom passed it by, and its median household income sits well below the state average, which means the town is desperate for residents who arrive with their own money already in hand. That is you. What does it cost? To buy? Home values here are among the lowest of any riverfront town in Florida, with typical prices sitting in the low 200,000s, and Zillow shows plenty of modest homes well under that. To rent, and this matters, the median rent runs around $1,300 a month, and a one-bedroom can be found under $1,000, which is genuinely rare in Florida now. Your hospital is HCA Florida Putnam, right in town, with the larger hospitals of Gainesville about 40 minutes to the west if you need advanced care. The seasonal downside, and I will always give you this straight, is the paper mill, because when the wind turns, you will know the mill is there, and summers on the river are hot and humid with the bugs that come with it. Who is Palatka right for? The angler, the quiet soul, the retiree who wants a front porch on a wide river and does not need a single fancy thing. Redfin data shows homes here sitting on the market well longer than the Florida average, which is exactly the leverage this whole video is about. Because a seller whose house has sat for months will listen to an offer a coastal seller would laugh at. Number 9 is Inverness, the seat of Citrus County on the chain of lakes in the Nature Coast. Why they want you. Citrus County is one of the oldest counties in the entire country by median age, built around retirees, and it needs a constant flow of new ones to replace the population it loses every year. So the whole local economy is arranged around welcoming you. What it costs. Typical home values across Citrus County sit around $270,000, and Inverness has a walkable historic downtown that makes that number feel like a steal. To rent, expect roughly $1,300 to $1,500 a month for a modest place, less if you go a little outside town. Your hospital is HCA Florida Citrus, right in Inverness, a full-service hospital minutes from downtown, which for this age group is close to ideal. The seasonal downside is summer heat and the humidity of a lake-filled county plus hurricane season, because the Nature Coast does take storm surge on the water. Who is Inverness right for? The retiree who wants lakes, trails, a real downtown to walk to, and a hospital they could reach in 10 minutes. Zillow shows Citrus County values holding steady rather than climbing, and Redfin shows a patient market with room to negotiate. So you are not walking into a bidding war here, you are walking into a conversation. Number 8 is Sebring in Highlands County, the town wrapped around a lake with a famous racetrack. Why they want you. Highlands County is one of the most retiree-dependent economies in the state, and its rental prices are actually falling, down around 6% over the past year, which is the market quietly telling you it needs more people. What it costs. Highlands County home values sit in the low to mid 200,000s, and here is the number that matters for renters. The median rent in Sebring is around $1,100 to $1,600 a month, well below the Florida average, with one bedrooms commonly in the 900s. That is a rare gift in this state. Your hospital is a genuine strength here because AdventHealth Sebring is not a small clinic. It is a full tertiary hospital with a stroke center and a cancer institute right in town, which is better hospital access than towns 3 times its size. The seasonal downside is real summer heat this far inland, with no sea breeze to save you, and the bugs that come with the lakes. Who is Sebring right for? The retiree who wants lake life, low rent, and crucially, big city hospital care in a small town. And on the rental side, the leverage is real and measurable because Redfin and other trackers show Sebring rents actually falling over the past year rather than rising, which almost never happens in Florida anymore. When rents are dropping, the landlord needs you more than you need the landlord. Number 7 is Dunnellon in Marion County, where 2 spring-fed rivers meet. Why they want you. Dunnellon was a phosphate boomtown that went bust over a century ago, and today the entire city has a population under 2,000 people. So every new resident genuinely moves the needle here. What it costs. The town-level typical home value was around $229,000 this spring, among the more affordable spots in the region for what you get, which is some of the clearest water in America out your back door. To rent, Dunnellon runs a bit higher because inventory is thin, around $1,800 a month as a median. So this is more of a buyer's town than a renter's town, and I want you to know that before you pack. Your hospital is about a 30-minute drive, either to Ocala to the east or the Gainesville systems to the north, which is the honest trade-off for this much quiet. The seasonal downside is that thin rental inventory and the summer heat, though the springs stay a constant 72 degrees and become your air conditioning. Who is Dunnellon right for? The buyer, not the renter, who wants river and spring life and does not mind a half-hour drive to the hospital. Zillow puts the town-level typical value well below the statewide median of $432,000. So even as a buyer, you are paying roughly half of what the average Florida home now costs. If you are still with me, and I hope you are, tap the like button right now because this is the exact video the algorithm buries, since it is not scary enough to go viral, and your one tap is what puts it in front of the next retiree who needs to hear that Florida is not actually closed to them. Now let us get to the towns that are trying the hardest. Number 6 is Arcadia in DeSoto County, deep in the cattle and citrus interior. Why they want you. Arcadia is one of the lowest income towns in the entire state, which means the local government is genuinely eager for residents who arrive financially independent, and the cost of living reflects a town that needs you more than you need it. What it costs. This is one of the cheapest places to buy in Florida, with modest homes regularly available in the low 200s and below, and rents to match, commonly under $1,300 a month. Your hospital is DeSoto Memorial Hospital right in Arcadia, a full-service community hospital with an emergency room in town, with larger systems in Port Charlotte, about 40 minutes south if you need them. The seasonal downside is serious summer heat this far from the coast, real hurricane exposure, since this region has taken direct hits, and a small town that is genuinely rural, so do not expect city amenities. Who is Arcadia right for? The self-reliant retiree on a tight, fixed income who values a historic small town and a low bill over nightlife and shopping. Redfin shows homes in DeSoto County lingering and cutting their prices, which for a buyer with cash and patience is the strongest negotiating position in the state. Number 5 is Avon Park, also in Highlands County, one of the oldest towns on the ridge. Why they want you. Avon Park sits in the same retiree-dependent heartland economy as Sebring. With an aging population, it constantly needs to refresh, and prices that never caught the coastal boom. What it costs. Home values here run in the low 200,000s, among the most affordable on the entire Lake Wales Ridge, and rentals commonly fall between $1,000 and $1,400 a month. To rent, you benefit from the same soft Highlands County market pulling prices down. Your hospital is AdventHealth Sebring, that same full tertiary hospital about 15 minutes south. So you get big hospital access without paying Sebring prices, which is the quiet trick of this town. The seasonal downside is inland heat and humidity, and a downtown that is still working to come back, so this is a work in progress, not a finished postcard. Who is Avon Park right for? The bargain hunter who wants Sebring's hospital and lakes without Sebring's price tag. Zillow shows Avon Park among the lowest typical values on the entire ridge, and because it shares the soft Highlands rental market, renters get the same falling prices that Sebring renters enjoy, without the racetrack crowds a few times a year. Number 4 is Live Oak in Suwannee County, up in the rural north near the Georgia line. Why they want you. This is genuine old Florida, a farming county far from any city, with a shrinking young population as the kids leave for the cities, which leaves the county leaning hard on newcomers and retirees to hold the tax base together. What it costs? Suwannee County typical home values sit around $270,000, and because this is deep country, you can find land with your house in a way the rest of Florida forgot was possible. Rentals are limited but affordable, commonly in the $1,100 to $1,400 range when you can find one, so again, this leans toward buyers. Your hospital is right in town, a community hospital in Live Oak, with the full Gainesville medical systems about an hour and 15 minutes south, and that hour matters, so know it going in. The seasonal downside is that distance from advanced care, plus hot, humid summers and true rural isolation, no malls, no traffic, and no crowd. Who is Live Oak right for? The retiree who wants land, quiet, and country living, and whose health is stable enough that an hour to the big hospital does not frighten them. For the right person, this is the dream. Zillow puts Suwannee County values around $270,000, and Redfin shows the rural north selling slowly, which again is the buyer's friend, because time on market is leverage and there is plenty of it up here. Stay with me, because the final 3 towns are where the leverage is strongest of all, and the last one is a place so eager for you that it is almost literally begging, with a true story attached that I think will stick with you. Number 3 is Bartow in Polk County, the old county seat right in the center of the state. Why they want you. Bartow is a historic town of grand old homes that has been overshadowed for years by its flashier neighbors, and it is eager for residents who will restore and fill those houses, sitting in a county that is one of the fastest changing in Florida. What it costs. Polk County typical values sit around $300,000, a little higher than others on this list, but Bartow gives you genuine historic architecture for that money, and rentals commonly run $1,400 to $1,800 a month. Your hospital is a real advantage because you are minutes from full-service hospitals in the Lakeland and Winter Haven area, with the enormous Tampa and Orlando medical centers each about an hour away. The seasonal downside is Central Florida heat, summer afternoon storms nearly every day, and a location that is inland with no beach nearby. Who is Bartow right for? The retiree who wants a beautiful old home, strong nearby hospitals, and a central location within an hour of 2 major cities, Zillow shows Polk County as one of the faster-moving markets on this list. So Bartow rewards the buyer who acts with a plan rather than the one who waits forever. But even here, the historic core is priced far below the Tampa and Orlando suburbs an hour away. Now, if you have made it this far, you have earned the single most useful part of this entire video, and it is not a town. It is the checklist that experienced Florida retirees, the ones who already did this, wrote themselves. First, rent before you buy and live through 1 full year, 1 whole summer, and 1 whole hurricane season before you sign anything permanent, because the town that charms you in January is a different animal in August. Second, be very careful with anything that ties you to someone else's land or a heavy set of monthly dues, because a low purchase price means nothing if the association fee or the lot rent climbs every year. Third, never buy the fixer-upper at our age, because in Florida's heat and damp, a fixer-upper becomes a fall-downer faster than you can find a contractor. And fourth, and this is the one nobody says out loud, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a well-built manufactured home in a good 55 and older community, and Florida is full of them, often all in for a fraction of a traditional house. And that is exactly why I put everything in one place for you. If any of these towns or any town in Florida is on your radar, I keep a single breakdown of 40 Florida towns, 20 that are genuinely worth buying into right now, and 20 worth staying well away from, each one with the specific reason attached, the prices, the risks, the real cost of living there. If you want to see which side of that line a town falls on before you ever make an offer, the link is waiting in the description. But stay right here, because the last 2 towns are the ones trying the hardest of all, and the second to last one comes with a true story I want you to hear. Number 2 is Williston, in Levy County in the quiet horse country south of Gainesville. Why they want you. Levy County is one of the least populated corners of the peninsula. With a small tax base, it is always working to grow, so this is a town that rolls out the welcome mat. What it costs. Levy County typical home values sit around $287,000, but the real story here is land and manufactured homes, and this is where the true story comes in. All across rural Florida, retirees are doing exactly what one man did in another state that went viral, buying a small piece of land and placing a brand new manufactured home on it, and coming out all in, owning it outright for well under $100,000. In Levy County, with land this affordable and no coastal premium, I have seen the version of this that went viral. A man who moved to the country, put a small new manufactured home on a piece of land he bought outright, and ended up all in, owning everything free and clear for around $50,000. That is not a fantasy in Levy County. With land this cheap and no coastal premium anywhere near it, that exact math is sitting there waiting for a retiree willing to think differently about what a home has to be. To rent instead, expect roughly $1,200 to $1,500 a month, though inventory is thin. Your hospital is about 40 minutes north in the Gainesville systems, some of the best hospitals in the state, which is a real asset even at that distance. The seasonal downside is rural isolation, summer heat, and that drive to advanced care. Who is Williston right for? The hands-on retiree who likes the idea of owning a modest place free and clear, near horse country, within reach of world-class Gainesville medicine. And number one, the town practically begging you the hardest, is Perry, up in Taylor County in the Big Bend. Why they want you, and this is the most literal case on the list. Perry just lost its largest employer when the paper mill closed, taking nearly 2,000 jobs and close to $10 million a year in local taxes with it, in a county where 1 in 5 people already lived below the poverty line. A town that just lost its economic engine needs exactly one thing to survive: new residents who bring their income with them, and a retiree on a stable pension or Social Security is the answer to Perry's prayers: what it costs. This is now some of the cheapest real estate in the entire state, with homes regularly available in the 100s and rentals commonly under $1,200 a month, because the town has more housing than workers. Your hospital is Doctors Memorial Hospital right in Perry, a small community hospital, with the full Tallahassee medical systems about an hour north, and that hour is the honest catch. The seasonal downside is real, hurricane exposure on the Big Bend, since a major storm hit here recently, the distance to a big hospital, and an economy in genuine transition. Who is Perry right for? The retiree who wants the absolute lowest cost of living in Florida, who does not need a job, whose health is steady, and who likes the idea of being welcomed as the person a whole town has been waiting for. Perry is not begging out of charm. It is begging out of need. Zillow and Redfin both show this corner of the Big Bend among the very cheapest and slowest markets in Florida, which means a buyer here can name terms that would be unthinkable anywhere near the water, and a renter can find a whole house for the price of a coastal one-bedroom. So there they are, 10 Florida towns where you, the retiree, finally hold the cards. And I want to be honest about what this list really is, because your trust matters more than a fantasy. Not one of these towns is a resort. Every single one asks you to trade something: distance from a big hospital, distance from the beach, summer heat, or a town still finding its footing, in exchange for a cost of living the rest of Florida cannot touch. That trade is real, and it is not for everyone. But for the retiree on a fixed income who has been told over and over that Florida is closed to them, these are the places quietly leaving the porch light on. And use it wisely. Leverage means you get to be patient, you get to make the low offer, you get to ask the seller to fix the roof before you sign, and you get to walk away, because in these towns there is always another house and always another month. The coast trained you to feel lucky just to be allowed to buy. These towns are where you get to remember that your money and your steady monthly check are exactly what somebody else has been hoping would show up. Now, I genuinely want to hear from you, because the comments on these are always the sharpest part. If you have already made this move, tell us your town and your real numbers, what you paid or what you rent, because a real figure from someone who did it is worth more than anything I can say. And if you are a native of one of these towns, tell us what I got wrong or what I missed, because you know it better than any list ever could. And here is my direct question for the comments. Which Florida town do you think is quietly begging for retirees that I left off this list? Name it and tell us why, because the next person reading is taking notes. And if this gave you a little hope instead of the usual fear, hit the like button and subscribe. Because I make these for the people every other channel forgot, the ones on a fixed income who still deserve a good place to grow old. Next, I am doing the opposite of a warning, the 10 Florida towns where the medical care is so good that retirees move there for the hospital alone, drive times, specialties, and all. So stay with this channel, because when you are our age, the hospital is the whole map, and almost nobody is willing to say it out loud.